All right. We will move on now to the race on Friday night. And again, like I mentioned, kind of a similar finish here. Brendan Queen, the dominant car of the day, thought he had the race wrapped up. And then on the white flag lap, a back marker brought out a caution, leading us to ARCA's version of the green-white checkered rule. We'll get into Tim Beans in just a moment. But first, Tanner, I know obviously you had very strong thoughts in the Xfinity Series race. Butterbean Queen, I think, was a little bit miffed at how that finish turned out. I'm sure it wasn't just with Brent Crews. It was probably with ARCA's overtime rules and him being on the receiving end of that, unfortunately for him this weekend. But do you think he also has a right to be upset with the move that Gibbs' ARCA driver made in the same way that the Xfinity Series driver did the night after that?
Miffed, I think, is a perfect verb for what he should be. I think that overall, Brent Crews used a pretty savvy old school move where he dipped his car, which was following closely behind another car, about a half groove lower than Brendan Queen, and was able to loosen him up using the packed air on his spoiler. And then, yes, there was some mild contact, but he didn't clean Queen out. He didn't really throttle up through him, quite like Almirola did, and motored on to the finish. Now, I think Queen's main ire should be directed at ARCA in their rule book, because he was what, a quarter mile from victory, and then a car that's laying idle on the apron brings out the caution. Oh, we got to rack him back up for a double file restart. And then he got another great restart, got out to the lead, and I believe we had another yellow after that. And then we had to run another several laps under caution. We had to put Speedy Dry out there to clean up oil that was left on the track by ailing cars, and then do it all over again for another double file restart.
Yeah, that was Tyler Reif, who ended up one position ahead of Tim Means, but he hit the inside wall hard on that restart in turn. I think that was off the bumper of Thad Moffitt, if I recall correctly.
It very much was, unfortunately. And yeah, I think that Queen's issues should be 90% squared towards ARCA and its officiating and the drivers that unfortunately brought those yellows out. But yeah, I mean, contact of that nature on the final lap should be somewhat expected. And I didn't see anything too egregious. And I didn't feel like, Crews just kind of throttled through him or anything like that. And cranked the wheel to the right to put him in the wall. It seemed like a relatively tidy finish to me. And if I were Butterbean, I wouldn't be too mad at Brent Crews, especially considering they have raced so much together in the Cars Tour, and they'll definitely be racing each other through ARCA throughout the rest of this year at select dates. So if I were Butterbean, I'd probably just keep that one in my back pocket in case I need to move the 18 car at some point, and just keep it at that.
Yeah, how about that? Two double overtime after the white flag, and we still get the 18 and 28 cars finishing 1-2. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on the ARCA? And I guess ARCA West, it was a combo race. Lots of West Series regulars out there as well. What were your thoughts on the race and the finish?
I enjoyed this General Tire 150. I was grilling chicken whilst listening and watching outside. It was great. Almost felt like it was spring for a moment. There's something amiss here with ARCA's concept of overtime when it doesn't align with NASCAR's top 3 series. Why we can't be finishing like we do with the Truck Series, Xfinity, or Cup, or we have to have the green flag finish in ARCA, is really where I think Butterbean's main gripe needs to be. Same as Tanner here. I think it's really cool that both of these have the history with each other in the Cars Tour, and I do think Butterbean, if given the option, would have probably lovingly moved Brent in the same way to get the win. And that's more exciting for us to see in the future if this comes back to bite Brent, and because Butterbean, he's got a fast car for this year. I mean, look, you already got Daytona out of the way, and you got the real racetrack here at Phoenix. He's still fast. So really looking forward to seeing what Brenden Queen can do in the ARCA Menard series. But yeah, we got compared to what happened the next day, this one was clean and also close, hard-nosed racing. But really, it comes back to, I know ARCA used to be its own independent thing and now acquired in the NASCAR universe. Still think we're gonna have a theme park one day. It's called NASCAR Speed Park. It's in Gatlinburg.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But it's just the other go-kart tracks are just as good as that one. Trust me. But yeah, the overtime rule in ARCA doesn't need to be different now. I mean, it may have been that way in the past, but like we're absorbed now in the NASCAR bubble. It needs to align with where these drivers are going to go in the future.
I would actually say that it would be more beneficial to ARCA, its drivers, its teams, its officiating crew, if they actually just said, no, we're going to actually break tradition from NASCAR and end it under
yellow
regulation.
Oh, regulation. Okay. Yeah.
Like these younger drivers do
too.
not need infinite attempts to finish the race. Like it's just not cost effective at all.
Yeah, especially with lower budget teams. Yeah. We're about to get into that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this here. I know we're following our outline. We kind of merged these two bullet points here, but I will just say this. It is my understanding, and I before I get into the argument, I guess I should say, like, people know how I reacted to the Indy 500 finish in 2023. I'm not a fan of red flagging the race to get a green flag finish at all costs, but I will take that over what NASCAR does in extending the race. At the bare minimum, the Indianapolis 500 still ended at mile number 500 in 2023, and for that I'm very thankful. But I will still take what NASCAR does over what ARCA does here, because it is my understanding that when the white flag comes out, that flag by definition means that whatever flag comes out next, whether it's a yellow one or a checkered one, is going to mark the conclusion of the race. And apparently in ARCA, that's not the situation that we have here. So I understand the desire for a green flag finish. I have said in the past that if you want to compromise, if you want to come to the negotiating table with me, I will grant you that you can have your one attempt. This is the era that we're in now. We've been doing this for 20, 21 years, however long it's been. You can have your one attempt. That's fine. And I'll even maybe grant you the one attempt in ARCA. But it's got to come out before the white flag, and that's the only attempt we're going to do. I think the ARCA overtime rules are particularly insane, and we see this on super speedways as well, because it takes them almost a full lap to get up to speed. I mean, there's no time to really put any sort of run together. It makes it even more pointless on those tracks. And I know we have a lot of time off before we go to Talladega being the next race, but yeah, I mean, I don't really need to explain where I stand. If it were up to me, if I ruled the world, we would just abolish overtime across the board in NASCAR and ARCA. But I think especially for these young drivers, who are more mistake prone, more accident prone, and we saw it in the very first one with Moffitt and Rife there. It leads to the opportunity. The 2023 Phoenix Championship race in the Truck Series, the perfect example of that. It leads to more chaos and controversy than is necessary. And I understand ending under yellow is a buzzkill, but sometimes I will take a buzzkill over, the insanity that we see, with double. And I mean, we saw it at Nashville last year, quintuple overtime. I mean, I'm just not particularly a fan.
I'm so sorry, Nashville Super Speedway. Sorry you had to see that.
Y'all should feel sorry for me. I was trying to get on a plane and watch the race on my phone, and thankfully the plane just didn't take off. But I was just like, can you all please just end this race so I can see the end of it?
I'm about to go into airplane mode here. We need to end this thing.
Literally, I didn't want to have to pay for the Wi-Fi for the plane.
Yeah, well, and the ripple effect that had, because who won that race? Who locked himself into the playoffs? Who went on to win the championship? I mean,
champion.
Just whoops! Here we go, championship.
Oh, frick!
That's 3, baby. Woo!
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, and
I told Ben last year, like, whoever wins, we're gonna have to hear their soundbite for the entire next year on Sirius XM. So just be ready for whoever it is.
We could have had a second year of Blaney, but no, we can't have that.
I mean, Blaney's sound bites are also kind of cringy too.
Well, I was going to say, in fairness, maybe if you play that game, you have to give Logano Richmond, but if we don't do overtime, Dylan wins Richmond anyway. So I think that's a moot point in and of itself there. But yeah, I mean, I understand, Tanner, the point. I know you said you put in our private chat here, Truck's been doing it for 31 years now, ever since they started. So I guess, if you have a brand new series, you want to do something different and create a new tradition in that sense, maybe that's a little more understandable. But I believe, I'm sorry, I think numbers mean something. I think you even have it here in this low level ARCA race, right? General Tire 150. That 150 is not arbitrary. If you want to die in your overtime hill, let's just call it, I guess, Grand Prix is more of a road racing term, right? But the ARCA West combo race at Phoenix, come up with a name that doesn't include an advertised distance.
Yeah, I don't think an oval should be called a Grand Prix.
Our fans into believing that you're going to see 150 laps or miles or kilometers or whatever it is, only if the race ends under green. If it doesn't end under green, we're going to extend the race, and the race name now becomes meaningless and actually incorrect.
Yeah.
So the only properly titled races are the Bass Pro Shops night race and the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix that was last week. So
sure, yeah.
There we go.
And the La Luna in Xfinity.
Oh yeah,
no, that's next week.
Yeah, well, but that's the point. I remember I was on this very show last year, and Brandon, we were having this discussion. We had two races back to back: the night race, the Bass Pro Shops night race, whatever the sponsor is there, and then it's the Go Bowling at the Glen. That race didn't have an advertised distance.
Yeah, just go bowling.
I don't think it's that hard. If you want to die on the overtime hill, don't give us an advertised distance. Just say we're going to have a scheduled number of laps, and these are the rules that we have here. But you put 500 in the name. I'm sorry, Kyle Busch won the Daytona 500. Ricky Stenhouse won the Daytona 530 or whatever it was a couple of years ago. So. But again, we can continue to beat that dead horse all day long here. Fans, I think, know where I stand on that issue here.
It was crazy. I can't remember what game Fox had on the other night, but it was at halftime by the time that we made it to the air.
It was like Colorado State and Boise State or something. I know it's the time of year for college basketball, but yeah, just with how much that race got extended. As soon as it switched over, I was like, "Holy cow! The first half is almost over." That's
like poor basketball fans.
Yeah.
Like, imagine people that's all they watch. Like
yeah. And hey, FS2 is not as widely available as FS1. It's not like ESPN and ESPN2 where they're like, right next to each other on your
satellite packages. Don't provide that.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people that even what is it now? 11 and a half, 12 years into the FS1, FS2 era. I think FS2 is still much lower on the TV package hierarchy there. So unfortunate for the basketball fans as well. And hey, all the more reason to end the race at a scheduled distance regardless. But what do I know?